According to Georgia law enforcement officials, a young woman has been killed by her own father in a tragic crime that has all the trappings of an Islamic extremist honor killing. Shodray Rashid is from Pakistan and has been charged with murder for strangling his daughter with a bungee cord after she apparently wanted out of her arranged marriage.
Now, they're called honor killings, but there's nothing honorable about them. It's a term used to describe acts of violence committed against women for bringing perceived dishonor to the family. Young women can be marked for death for even simply falling in love with the wrong person.
Banaz was a caring, loving young woman with the whole of her life in front of her. And that life has been brutally cut short by the very people that should have loved her and protected her. In any terms, the ultimate betrayal.
Official figures show as many as a dozen women a year in Britain are the victims of honor killings. But the figure could be much higher. Apparent suicides for young Asian women are 3 times the national average, and there's little explanation for that. Her family wanted her dead. Banaz had left an abusive marriage arranged by her family and then fell in love with an Iranian Kurd who wasn't part of her clan. She knew her new love, coupled with the failure of her marriage, brought shame to her family, and that they believed the only way to restore the family's pride was through a so-called honor killing. Just weeks after leaving hospital, Banaz was abducted by 2 men, raped, strangled with a shoelace, and then her naked body literally packed into this suitcase.
A 16-year-old girl has died in hospital in Toronto, and her father is facing a charge of murder.
Students here at Applewood Heights Secondary School were expecting to have a half day of classes today, but certainly not expecting to be dealing with the death of one of their friends and classmates, 16-year-old Aqsa Parvez. Police say it was her father, 57-year-old Mohammed Parvez, that made the 911 call saying that he had killed the 16-year-old early yesterday morning.
Her parents were really religious, so when they were really strict with religion, I heard. So when they found out that she wasn't dressing religiously, they got angry, I guess.
Many of these women are accused of running away from their husbands or marrying a man of their choosing. They are behind bars for what the authorities call moral crimes. Moral crimes often simply means defying their family's wishes. Many of these women ended up in Poli Charki prison in Kabul with their children. Like their mothers, they are now disgraced, and there is no one willing to look after them anymore.
Human rights groups argue laws do little to protect women in this country, and at times it's Afghan tradition that gives them even fewer rights. The legal age of marriage is 16. A large number of Afghan girls marry well before. Up to 80% of those marriages have been forced.
That is the story of this 13-year-old girl whose father handed her over to repay a gambling debt. He owed $5,000 to this 50-year-old man, Mohammed Asif. Mohammed says he is not sure if she is happy about the marriage, but it's not up to her anyway.
Estimates that 5,000 women are killed each year around the world. In Pakistan alone, in 2006, at least 565 women were victims of honor killings. And here in Jordan, although there are no official statistics, it's estimated that between 25 and 30 women are murdered each year. Everyone knows your history. Once you tell them your family name, we ask, what is the price of honor? Just on the suspicion of having committed adultery or for protesting against a forced marriage. The laws of the land have not caught up with this ancient practice whose roots predate Islam, and often the killer gets off with a very light sentence, such as 6 months in prison.
There were chilling final words from a 17-year-old girl who was bleeding to death with her sister in a taxi cab near Dallas today. Those words, "Oh my God, I'm dying." They are Amina and Sarah Saeed. They were both shot over and over and left to die outside Irving, Texas, in a hotel on New Year's Day. Police suspect the girl's father in the killing, the father who had apparently threatened one of the girls over her dating a non-Muslim boy.
According to a recent Pew Research Center poll, more than 1/4 of Muslims in America think Muslim immigrants should not follow the American way of life, but should try instead to remain distinct. But in recent years and even months, an alarming number of these crimes have been committed here in America by Muslims with a pretty radical mindset.
Now, New York is a big city, and many mothers and brothers would worry about a teenage daughter or sister coming here alone. But in this case, it seems fair to say, the concern was not for Miriam's physical safety, but for the Mohammed family's honor. Sheriff's investigators say Mrs. Mohammed asked Wahid to stop Miriam from coming, and Wahid did just that.
Dr. Phyllis Chesler, who has written about the case, says anyone investigating honor killings must recognize these are not typical acts of domestic violence.
An honor killing is not the same exactly as what we know of as domestic violence. An honor killing is planned, it's premeditated.
And there are often accomplices, even family members, to help with the planning, the actual killing, or the getaway.
8 years ago, the United Nations was confronted with its own research showing that thousands of Muslim women are murdered in honor killings every year. The UN's response? A watered-down resolution condemning honor killings. Even then, 22 Muslim countries did not vote for the resolution. They include Pakistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, among others. Today, countries like Syria and Jordan give slap-on-the-wrist punishments to men who kill in the name of honor. Muslim leaders say honor killing is not condoned by Islam, but still, you've seen Muslim men commit these crimes in the name of their faith. Perhaps the first step in stopping these honor killings is to quit honoring them. For every group or regime associated, fairly or unfairly, with the practice, to make clear that honor killings are a despicable oxymoron. Only when that happens will this practice end.